hidden behind a false wall, in the Zion German Reformed Church, located in Northampton Town, Belle, one of America's most recognizable icons, quietly waited, never making a sound. Belle had made a daring, quick escape from the city of Philadelphia to avoid falling into enemy hands. At 20 years of age, Belle was still useful to the enemy. So hidden, Belle would stay until the occupation ended, and Belle would return to Philadelphia, home since leaving London's borough of Tower Hamlets in Whitechapel, England. Away only 9 months, Belle would not be pressed into service for another 7 years after that quick flight from the city of brotherly love, and Belle would remain on duty for 50 years, not being officially retired until 1835, where it's been said Belle became irreparably affected by the death of Chief Justice John Marshall. Others claim it was George Washington's birthday on February 22, 1846. Oddly enough, Belle didn't go by the more recognizable name we all know today, the Liberty Bell. The Liberty Bell had been secretly moved from the city of Philadelphia to Northampton Town, now Allentown, Pennsylvania, as to not let the 2,000 pounds of metal fall into the British hands after Washington's loss at the Battle of Brandywine on September 11, 1777. The Independence Hall bell was commissioned for the 1751 50th anniversary of William Penn's Charter of Liberties, which would be a precursor to the later 1776 Declaration of Independence. Penn was the son of a wealthy British nobleman who had received the territories that we know as Pennsylvania as a payoff for a loan the English king had secured from Penn's wealthy father. Pennsylvania would become a model of religious tolerance and profitable mercantilism that America's colonies would likewise emulate. The Liberty Bell was first cast at Lester and Pack, now Whitechapel Bell Foundry in Whitechapel, UK. The bell was damaged in transit across the Atlantic, how, nobody knows, and was given to the local smiths John Stowe and John Pass to recast. Unfortunately, neither of the two had sufficient training or experience in casting objects of this size, and the Independence Hall bell was patched up and rung annually for Washington's birthday and the 4th of July celebrations. Hence the likelihood that it did crack on either of those occasions. The Independence Hall bell would bellow her call to proclaim liberty throughout the land unto all inhabitants thereof, as cited from Leviticus 25:10, as a truly American icon, July 8, 1776, 1 week after the Declaration of Independence was penned and signed by the Second Continental Congress, their Committee of Five, at the Vincent Halsey House that once stood on 233rd Street in the Bronx, New York. The Liberty Bell was given her name by the abolitionists of the late 1830s, who had made great strides in stopping the transatlantic slave trade to young United States 22 years earlier in 1812. No newly enslaved unfortunates would ever be delivered to America's shores for a full 49 years before the war between the states was declared in May 1861. The Liberty Bell, though useless as an acoustic beacon, would become the visual representative for America's constitutional values, remaining so until this day, 240 years since that day that liberty's ring peeled across our new land, resonating still that it might shake the very foundations of tyranny where it still exists. The Liberty Bell was last rung officially on February 22, 1931, and it will not be rung again officially until July 4th, 2031, 14 years and 51 weeks from this very day. Not a day goes by in 21st century America where some force tries to drown out liberty's promise with calls to strip you of your creator-endowed rights, or to force you into the yoke of false egalitarianism that is enforced by unconstitutional gender and race quotas. These quotas were created by lying social engineers who value appearances over actual achievement. These individuals who use their rights to assault your rights. Individuals from both the left and right side of the aisle, and their respective liberal and conservative media counterparts. It can only make one wonder. Why do those in such position hold such feelings of disdain and fear where your freedoms are concerned? It makes one wonder why they fear liberty's promise that they so desperately try to deny you its truth. Like the demons who feared Solomon's sigils of power, and the hellspawn held at bay by the Lord's Prayer, too many vocal Americans would plug your ears with their ideology and lies. So frightened of freedom they must be. They are clearly in a thrall of an undiagnosed phobia instilled by parental shortcomings and generational immorality. Whether the strange magic was cast into liberty's metal in ancient Albion as a gift from the antediluvian kings who led generations of freemen who tamed the savage world before the millennia of ice crushed their mighty works, or if that magic was instilled in the Great Bell on America's shores, where freedom for all men had taken solid purchase in a world of empires and subjects. Like the colossal goddess who stands in New York's harbor, the city of Philadelphia for more than 200 years has been home to America's oldest symbol of freedom, not a bird or a shooting star, but a declaration of liberty and freedom cast in steel, which provides the metal for a nation of free men and free women, all endowed by their Creator with inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The promise is real. The dream is real. A declaration empowered by God, bound in copper and steel. See the enemy's minions on the run as liberty's peal rings out under the life-giving sun.